Hail, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 5. Choose your pain.
Yes.
All right, quick synopsis for those of you who are choosing to watch us instead of CBS All Access. So the way it works, Lorca, Captain, at a meeting of high command, on his way back, he gets kidnapped by the Klingons, tortured for information about his ship. Meanwhile, back aboard the Discovery, Saru has become acting captain, and
As a result
of said kidnapping, and is determined to use the tardigrade creature to jump to find the captain and rescue him. Michael is convinced that the tardigrade is being injured every time they do these jumps. She's proven to be correct. The tardigrade goes into hibernation. Stamets uses the jumping device, spore device on himself.
Yes.
He injects himself with DNA. I don't know. Anyway, it was a little weird, but whatever. Yes.
Some people, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah. They successfully rescue the captain. Meanwhile, while they're attempting all those things, we learn more about the captain's background. He meets up with Harvey Mudd,
Yes.
who's obviously a character from the original series,
Yes.
who's also imprisoned by the Klingons. We learn that the captain's previous ship that he was aboard, he intentionally killed the entire crew to keep
Yes.
them from being captured
Yes.
by the Klingons.
Great guy.
We'll talk about that in a second, just to wrap up. Okay, so we learn that he rescues a fellow Starfleet junior officer. I don't know. I got the
Yeah,
feeling
he's
he was
not a
like
captain.
yeah. So we have a new crew member, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
He is on the crew.
Oh, yeah.
So.
No, he's been in the credits, apparently.
Okay. So, and then the tardigrade is released back into the wild
Yes.
successfully. And then we finish off with I shipped
I
the
think
doctor
yeah,
and
I think you
Stamets.
did,
So
yeah, there you go.
kudos to me. I win all the virtual dollars
He
that
does.
come with that.
That's right. He's very perceptive about, undercover relationships.
So, so at the end of the episode, they're brushing their teeth together, and like it's the, "Are you sure you're okay?" "I'm fine." He turns around, leaves. His mirror image remains for a while, and it's like they're out of phase.
Yeah.
His mirror image was like a few seconds behind him,
Right.
and that's how we end it off. So that said, what are your thoughts about said episode, sir?
I wasn't crazy about it, maybe because they were attempting to do quite a lot. Some of the changes, like bringing on a new cast member who you didn't mention, I guess was sexually abused.
He was definitely sexually abused by the female Klingon prison head. Warden.
Right. So it makes me wonder if they're going to make that a theme that he has to address.
I think they almost have
which
to,
is
right?
interesting. And, I feel like you probably don't see as many stories like that about a male who's been sexually abused. So that might be another new avenue for Star Trek to explore. But I felt like, so there were a number of things that I felt weren't handled as well as they could have been.
Yeah, there was a sense of it being rushed. Like,
Perhaps.
the show's got another, 10 episodes or something this season alone, if they're going to have more seasons. It felt like it was like a movie. Like they were just trying to push through things. The thing with the tardigrade seemed kind of rushed, generally speaking.
Yeah, because it's like the potential for that to be a good storyline is the fact that if there's really some disagreement about what they're doing, and once they kind of establish that yes, he's being hurt, ironically, the person who is the prey species, the one who has the least problems with what's going on,
Saru.
And I mean, yes, he was feeling all that pressure to perform, perhaps, but I think it would have been worth some conversation or at least some expression of his own division about that. But very quickly they got rid of that creature, which is great. That's what they should have done. Again, I think, I'll discuss that later, I guess, about the whole problem about the spore drive.
The spore drive.
But yeah, so that, just one of the things that happened that were sort of, probably could have benefited from having more time. Or maybe they could have cut out one of them. Like, if the captain had been kidnapped and you wouldn't see that resolved this week, you could have had that resolved next week.
Right. Yeah, the kidnapping rescue thing. I'll say this too. I mean, it's not like this has never happened in Star Trek before. I'll preface this. This is kind of a Star Trek trope. Oh, we've gone off on a shuttle and we get hijacked. I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that was like,
could have figured it.
What? They have holograms.
Oh.
They talk to each other all the time with High Command. Why did he have to show up at this meeting? Why couldn't he have just beamed in, had his meeting, and said, "Look, the Discovery's mine. I'm not going to stop doing stuff, and I'm keeping Michael on my crew. Bye." Like it seemed artificial, like for him to have to travel somewhere to be there in person for something. Like they have the technology, so they don't have to be there in person to do it.
We're in a place where people can have video conferences and people still travel places.
I hear you. It's a lot less convenient for him though too. He's on the other side of space. Like, oh, okay, let me hang on. I'll be there in a few weeks. Whatever. I don't know. It seemed a little weird. I mean, it seemed convenient, right? It was just like, we want a situation where he's in a ship by himself. Fine.
Well, they want to have scenes of like one scene with the High Command and not have like, bloop, now it's just me and her.
Because I will say this, when he started talking, I assumed he was a hologram. Like I was like, oh yeah, he's a hologram. And then suddenly it was like, oh, he's not. Okay. Like I totally bought the idea. It's like, yeah, he's a hologram. He's talking on that.
Right. I mean, I think one of the benefits of having people actually with you is that you can actually talk to them in a way that you couldn't if you were even in a hologram.
I hear you.
Like it would have to be a holo conference room. All those different holograms.
Saying, the convenience and the potential of not getting captured is probably also reasons why you might not do the let's all meet in person thing. But okay. But yes.
I don't know how often I haven't been traveling one. Good, we can capture somebody else now.
But the conversation was interesting. So he has a past with, I don't know if she's the admiral.
Yes, she's an admiral.
And she brings up the point of like, hey, that Michael Burnham, I really don't think she should be an officer.
Right.
Or not an officer, but I don't think she should be on your crew.
Yeah, right.
And it's bad for morale. And he's like, blah. And then she also says, hey, you've been using the ship a few times. They know you're out there. Stop using the ship for a while.
That was the main part of the meeting, right?
Yeah,
it was like, this is a really great thing, but, because we haven't found enough any other creatures yet, everybody's looking for them. We can't. You should hold back on what you're doing.
And he's like, yeah, sure. Well, but not really.
Well,
he's like, it's my ship, is what he ends up saying.
No, I don't think so. I think he's pretty much saying that he's not gonna go against what they're saying.
You sure?
Yes.
I kind of got the idea that he was like, fine.
I feel like he was
really
fine about he's like, Michael's mine. Screw you.
Yeah, he was definitely. I'm making my choices, but I thought
he's
that
not
comment.
Happy about it.
I thought the comment was also, and I'll make the choices for my ship.
Perhaps under his breath. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. He wasn't openly hostile to the idea of
I feel like,
limiting his activities.
Right.
But he was not pleased about it, and I have a feeling if the right situation came up, he'd just use the ship again.
He probably would.
Yeah. But that also brings up the point. The ship has been used. They pointed out 3 times already.
Right.
In 3 different engagements, and of course, in this episode, a 4th time.
Right.
So it's really on the scene. Like this thing is now really involved.
Yes.
A ship with this technology is now, so I'm just saying, for them to erase it, the more they keep using it,
right.
the less likely it is that this thing gets erased. I mean, they just have
it still is.
Yeah, it has to get erased, right?
So, yeah, I mean, it's like, for one, they had a convenient out, which they gave away, which is using this creature, which is clearly against the Starfleet principles that we've known in the past. So they let it go, and so now a person's supposed to do it. And they specifically brought up how genetic testing or changing yourself is against also Starfleet principles, which is a nice little callback to certainly the Wrath of Khan stuff, but also Bashir in Deep Space Nine, actually, too. He was genetically altered. So, he genetically altered himself. So we'll see if there's any repercussions. There should be.
Right.
And presumably,
there's a thing
it's probably going to have a cost. So
I assume that we already talked about the mirror dimension.
Yeah, so there's probably going to be, this is bad. We probably should stop doing this.
And Michael had a dream where she was in the tank being the thing, which I thought it was basically her version of saying, "Oh, this thing is a living creature."
Yeah, that
like
was an
me.
interesting thing, even though it was sort of like they'd already established that she felt for the creature, so in a way they could have cut that too.
But I thought it was leading
it was an interesting little scene, but
I thought it was leading to the fact that she would volunteer because she's the one who says, if we use this DNA on a person, we can make the jumps without the tardigrade.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, so
Psych.
like her dream. But he's like, nope. Well, we'll give it to Stamets, and you stay there.
Yeah.
Some good things. Let's throw out some good things real fast. I enjoyed the conversations. I think there were multiple ones between Saru and Michael.
Yes.
The one where Saru is like, you stole my career from me. You stole my life as a potential captain.
Yes.
I was going to be second in command. You were second in command. You took all that time and attention away from the captain, and you killed the captain.
You killed the captain.
So that you stole from me.
Yeah.
Basically, and that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
No, and I enjoyed the his attempt to have the ship's computer monitor his performance.
So they did the little Easter egg. They pulled up like successful captains, and they had Archer, they had Decker, they had
Pike,
they had also the
and
Giorgio, whatever, Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little Easter egg thing. Those are apparently the only successful captains.
Yeah, no, the only ones we've known and seen.
And so he basically asked the computer to take those qualities, monitor him, and then evaluate him based on those principles. And so it is a nice beat at the end where he's like, just delete it. I know what I did.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear that perhaps he was a little obsessive about using the damn drive, even though it was killing a sentient creature.
Yes.
Which, another thing Michael's like, maybe we should set it free and that'll make it happy. That's what everybody wants.
Sure.
I mean, that was it's kind of a shot in the dark. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I could imagine you release this thing into space and it just plummets and dies. I don't know. Like, it was, yay, it worked.
And it seemed like they established how durable it was.
Okay.
And they had to discover it in some way.
That would have been a nice comedic beat.
Yeah.
Be free! It falls into a sun and just explodes. Okay, well,
I don't know what I'll be dreaming about tonight.
He died doing what he loved. No, but it is, I guess that is reminiscent of one thing that's a little, I feel like so they started, obviously episodes 1 and 2 and 3, like Michael makes some bad choices.
Yes.
Very bad choices.
Yes.
A good person making bad choices.
Yes.
It seems like she's no longer making any bad choices.
Seem like that, yeah.
She's like, everything she does is right, and it's just that nobody believes her. I would much rather have her still finding her way. I don't want her just to be if you just listen to her every time, you'll be right.
Right. Well, she's trying to do the right thing, if you're right about where the, season is ending, where she has to... I'm going to mutiny again?
Which I still think we're on target for that, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Let's talk about that. So Lorca was the captain of a ship before Discovery, and they were going to be captured by the Klingons, and rather than let them get captured, he kills the whole crew. What I don't understand, which is okay, he had a reason for like, I don't want him to be tortured.
Yes.
How did he live? That's the part I don't get. Like, okay, I blew up the ship and I killed everyone, including me, to save us the horrors of... But instead, it's like, I made a decision for everyone else.
Right.
I survived just fine.
Yeah. Who knows?
Like,
yeah, maybe.
That's the part that's weird. Like, it just sits there, like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I feel like it wasn't exactly clear about how that happened, certainly, because we didn't see it and we don't know about how. But he talked about escaping or something that he did or whatever. So, who knows? We'll have to, either they'll show us or...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with some convenient way that he was off the ship, but he had a way to explode it, and he decided to do that, and it cost him his vision or something.
Right.
Maybe the explosion itself was so bright.
Right.
Although that's also... I was a little underwhelmed by...
The torture?
Well, it was cool. Like, the torture itself, okay, uses weakness against him.
Sure.
But it didn't seem like he had a lot of after effects from it. That was the part, like you would think he'd come back and be like, I can't see. Use that as like I need your help. Right. And instead he was like, they got me for a while. I'm good.
Right.
And it didn't, like, now they've kind of set the bar for how much it affects him. Like, okay, it bothers him, but it doesn't really, he still can see.
Right.
He's still, like, if you put bright light in his eyes, so be it. He can gut it out. I don't know. It seemed like it set the bar a little low for how much it affects him.
It would have been nice to have him suffer more,
yeah.
But then it would have made it more difficult for him to escape.
Sure, but okay, that might be interesting too. I don't know.
I know. I'm just saying. Unfortunately, because they were trying to compress everything, I think it made, again, it affected how well they accomplished what they were trying to do.
Now, here's something I did not completely grasp, just procedurally. The choose your pain thing. Okay, so the Klingons show up into your cell when you have like a bunch of people in one cell.
Sure.
And they say choose your pain.
Right.
But in the case of the first time, they asked Harvey Mudd, choose your pain, and he points at the guy on the floor.
Right.
And then they beat the crap out of the guy on the floor.
Apparently kill him.
Okay. Why didn't the guy on the floor get a vote? Like, you would think like the whole group has to choose who choose your pain. Like, do they keep coming around every few minutes and pick one person to ask? Or?
That guy didn't seem he could really pick very well.
Well, I'm also saying no one has apparently chosen Harvey Mudd over all the time he's been there. But so it made it seem like Harvey always gets to choose, and he's like, choose that guy, choose that guy. Like, it just is the choose your pain a global thing within that cell, or is it they come to one specific person each time?
And presumably. Because we know in the episode that he's on the inside, that he fools the people in there to thinking that he has a choice when they have a choice, when really no, they don't. It's just which one of you guys are going to go.
True. Although when
when
they come in that next time, it seems like Lorca's going to choose Harvey Mudd, and Harvey Mudd is convinced he's about to be chosen, and instead the new crewman Jenkins says, "Oh, let him beat me up."
I feel as if Lorca was about to choose himself.
Yeah.
Although, since he knew there was a plot going on, he was just trying to make it seem like he was having difficulty with it. Like, I guess I'm going to have to do it because I'm the new guy, so maybe it should be... And I'm the captain,
okay, but that's a good point.
So maybe it should be me, when really he knew all along that,
Why didn't he choose himself?
Wait. Even though... Well, you knew that that was going to happen, though, right?
Oh, because they staged a thing and then they yes, got it. That's why he didn't choose himself.
That's why he didn't choose himself.
Yeah, although the guy did get crap beat out of him first.
But presumably, it's like which one has been tortured more? It should have been the captain because it's just my eyes. It's dark in here. I think I'll be fine.
But I got the opinion that if and you're right, maybe it wasn't. But if Lorca had chosen Harvey Mudd, they would have gone and beat up Harvey Mudd.
Maybe he just got tortured with like rough sex. So maybe he was in better shape.
Yeah, because then he goes, he starts walloping the evil officer who they spoke English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
Thank you for speaking English.
Yeah, they don't speak Klingon.
We didn't have subtitles. Thank goodness. All right. Anyway, but he shot her, but shot half of her face.
I would appreciate it if they spoke their English a lot slower, actually. Wait, is that English?
That's how they got away. Stop them. They're getting away. Ah, we're great. No, but it conveniently didn't kill the prison warden. Just shot like her face.
Oh yeah, that was incredibly convenient.
So she's gonna come back.
Yes, yes.
Be like half face melt woman.
Yes, I'm half face melt woman.
Scorned. And obviously Harvey Mudd's like, you haven't seen the last of me.
Yes.
I'll be back in another episode.
Yes, right.
So.
And in future series. With a different actor playing me.
So that was it's kind of convenient as well. But
yes.
So. So that's the kind of stuff we learn. His eye. Oh, also, that was actually an interesting bring it back around moment with the choose your pain.
Yes.
Where, he was told like, you could just get your eyes fixed.
Right.
And he's like, no, I've chosen my pain.
Right.
Like, so in other words, that is his guilt for blowing up his crew. Right. He's holding on to the fact that his eyes hurt.
Always remember that he did that. Yes.
You all died. I have minor eye irritation, but yes. So that's his. He's not getting it fixed. In honor of that horrible choice he had to make.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up what I think was the weakest bit of dialogue maybe in the show, but specifically this episode.
Huh. What did Tilly say?
It is a Tilly moment, but she wasn't the one that started it. So it's them all. It's the exposition scene.
The fucking scene
that ends up with the F word. Yeah. So it's like they all stand there for a while doing an incredibly expositionary scene. It's almost like a lecture.
Okay.
I mean, they're all standing in a row and like, well, you see, the tardigrade can blah, blah, blah with spores. So if we do this thing here, and like, it just got real. I get it. They were like, we need to explain this process so that when we make an alteration to it, the audience is with us. But it was wordy and long, and it felt like a lecture.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, they tacked on this really forced, Tilly's like, that's effing cool. And then, yep, it is effing cool. And then it just screamed, hey, this is all access. Like, we wouldn't be doing this on CBS, but you've got all access, so we're going to have this character who would never probably say this in this moment say, it's effing cool to her boss.
You don't think she'd say?
I don't think she would.
I think she would.
She doesn't seem like a cursor, for one thing. Much less someone who would say it in a situation where because she's very concerned about her job, she would be... All right, I'm just saying. It felt really forced.
I feel like it feels forced because it's TV. I think somebody who wants to achieve something and also is nerdy might want to curse sometimes. The thing that made me think about actually is something that you might think watching the show. This is the first time that they cursed on Star Trek Discovery, but it's not.
Okay, when did they curse on Star Trek Discovery?
Michael Burnham said "shit" when she was being pursued by that beast.
All right, there is a difference, I think,
between shit.
I think
I'm just saying curse. That's all I'm talking about.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm just talking about cursing. I'm not.
I think we've heard that occasionally on like
cursing.
Basic Cable has actually thrown that out, but the show that throws the
this
F word
is Basic Cable.
Well, it's CBS.
Right.
All right, it's network TV. I'm just saying they
That's
threw
not
it out.
Network.
Is it not network?
No, you're not seeing it on network.
Well,
TV.
sure, but they connected to
it's streaming.
The big eye in the sky. All right, anyway, and whatever. People swear all the time, and as you say, in movies and HBO and blah blah blah. It just felt like they were like, we're joining the ranks.
Right.
Like, we're going to put this in here. We're going to write it. It just felt like it was something that was written because let's put that in, as opposed to an organic moment.
Yeah, it felt organic to me.
Okay.
Because even if it's funny, actually. It didn't bother me at all, the conversation. The expositional I feel like they're all techno people. You know, they want to discuss that. It's meaningful to them to discuss how something is done. Even if it's techno babble,
it was techno. It was
of like stuff that actually doesn't mean anything because
to me it was boring techno babble that they probably should have cut in maybe a fourth of the time or something. Like speed up that process. It's meaningless anyway. You're just saying, hey, if we take the red cube and put it in the blue square, it'll do a thing. I mean, you could literally say anything. Just condense that babble. That's all. Or make it seem more organic to the scene where there's some kind of, I don't know, conversation as opposed to lecture moment. That's all. All right. Okay. I can see I'm not convincing you, but that's fine. No, I had a problem with that moment. Yeah. So that was my low point.
I hear you.
What was your low point?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd specified or recognized low point. For me, yeah, things weren't handled all that well. So I mean,
I like Saru, I like Stamets. I'm intrigued by Lorca. Michael is still a little fuzzy now. Now that she's like, it seems like you did all this wrong stuff before. Now you can do no wrong. I don't really like that quality to her now. I want her to be a fallible, real character who can make choices and they could be wrong. I don't want to always. I had this feeling that going forward for a long time is going to be whatever she says is probably the thing they should do. And then you'll just have Saru and company be like, no, you're stupid.
For me,
you're a mutineer.
I mean, for me, yeah, they're like I think I said before, they're not doing a good enough job of having people disagree on the point of what to do with that creature.
Yeah.
Everybody accepts that. Oh wait, it's sentient, or then it probably shouldn't be doing it. So unfortunately, I mean, it's hard for me not to frame it as sort of like still trying to keep with this. In the future, everybody's good.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think now that as they let the tardigrade go, they have this kind of a way to travel, but not really because it almost killed a guy. I mean, it
knocked him out, but he didn't seem like that creature.
Okay. All right, so you think they'll just keep doing that? They'll keep injecting a person and letting them do it?
The thing that was disturbing about that was that weird thing that happened at the end. So the phasing or whatever.
But my point, so you think they're going to continue using a human to make the process go? Is that what's going to keep happening?
Or until they decide they can't do it anymore, right? I mean, whatever that.
So, like, in other words, Stamets will keep volunteering, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm good.
I mean, presumably, yeah, it's a good question whether or not.
Because they're going to keep using the drive.
Right, they're definitely going to keep using the drive. Whether or not it needs to be him that does it might be a question. Maybe they'll decide to have people doing it, different people. In which case, they'll probably have different effects of it, on people.
It would be funny if they're like, doing it on intelligent life is a bad thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an exact clone of Stamets. And his entire life will be spent standing in this thing, getting injected for us to travel. That's much more, moral choice to make.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I'm not sure how they'll solve that. But yeah, maybe it just seems like if it knocks you out every time, that's a pretty big deal.
Yes. Yeah, right. So whether it be him continue to do it, in which case,
Did it do something to his teeth? Did you see? I got something on like his teeth.
I didn't notice. That's why he was.
Maybe that's why he was brushing. I don't know. Maybe they just ate raisins.
I don't notice it.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know. I mean, we know that it's not. It's supposed to stop at some point. So,
right. At some point, but not episode 6.
Right.
I mean, they're going to keep. That's the whole point of the ship. Really, is hey, it can bamf around.
Well. Currently, that's what it is. But I mean, it's doing all sorts of weird scientific things. Is I think its actual point that they're secretive about. So that's what I think.
I think the ship would lose a lot of its luster if it's not able to bamf around, though. I mean, it has the whole.
Do you think it's going to stop doing it? You don't think it's going to stop doing it by the end of the season?
Yeah. Okay, you tell me. Is this a mini series or is it? I assume they're going to think about a season 2 and a season 3. Or...
Yeah, I mean, it originally was conceived as an anthology, so the second season would be different than the first. However, because the person who conceived of that is not with the series anymore, and the powers that be apparently like, we'll see, which to me sounds like we'll keep this.
Okay, because if it was a mini series, then I would say yes. By the end of this arc, the ship will cease to have that power to support. But if it's going to keep going, season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, I feel like they're going to find a way to keep this thing active.
Yeah, I don't agree. I feel like at some point during the season they'll discover that this shouldn't be done. I mean,
gotcha. That
to have multiple seasons of we have this weird technology that doesn't exist later. That's just the way it was.
I hear you.
That's what. So yeah. So I don't think it's right to look at this as this is the Bamfing. This is a show about the Bamfing starship. I don't think that's.
So maybe they have a season that deals with the after effects or something.
Yeah.
Maybe like, we turned it down. Hopefully we haven't attracted the attention from the mirror dimension. Oh, we did. Now we have to fight off the mirror. Okay, whatever. Right. Okay, all right. Okay, I can see your point on that. That they'll. So one way or another, in the next 10 episodes,
I think so.
Sword Drive goes bye-bye.
I would think. I mean, otherwise, I feel like it's something they need to pay off. Some people are really irritated by that. Like, what? That's not canon. It's like, well, you don't know yet. Maybe they will get rid of it.
Well, I also do feel like Lorca would not get rid of it. So if the Spore Drive is going away, I think that goes hand in hand with Lorca probably dying. Or at least being removed as captain.
Maybe. But it might be taken out of his hands.
Yeah, right. So he could be either he's removed from decision making, or killed,
or it's just like, now we're taking it away from you. Good luck. The guy who's the guy in charge of it is either dead, or so altered by the fact that he can't do it anymore. So. So good. You can't do it now.
I see what you're saying. It's not like a choice. It's just
right. They take the choice out of his hand.
There's no way to actually do it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be more of a choice. I think that makes more. It's more fun narratively, than just like, it doesn't work anymore. Okay.
Oh no! I'm just sort of like we're deciding for you.
Yeah.
Like we're Starfleet. We're taking this thing out. We don't like what happened, so eat it.
I did not see a trailer for next week.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay, so we don't know exactly what's coming next week, but we will be here talking about it.
Yes.
In the meantime, we'll also be talking about Mr. Robot, Season 3, Episode 2, which is coming out in the near future. So join us for that. Subscribe if you want to get those notifications. Make a comment. We were probably idiots. Let us know that, and we'll make comments back to be like, you're right, we were idiots. Yeah. So yeah, do that. And we will see you later. So, fare thee well, Internet. Bye.